One.
Welcome to Time for Emerging Markets. We have here our lovely director of the Emerging Markets Institute, Lourdes Casanova, our esteemed guest, Rohit Verma, Dean of External Relations at Johnson College of Business. We have a visiting faculty member here with the EMI, Heloisa Menezes, and my name is Eudes Lopes. I'm the managing editor for the EMI.
Thank you so much, Eudes. So we are going to have a conversation with Rohit and also with Heloisa regarding universities. Rohit, you have been involved in a very interesting project, and I worked with you before as you were in charge of EMI for a while, and it has been a pleasure because you have always been supporting our work and also having this global vision that now is taking you to uncharted waters or uncharted territory, that is Vietnam. So maybe we can start by you explaining a little bit about the project.
Thank you, Lourdes. It's great to be here. Thank you for a nice introduction. It's always a pleasure to be part of Emerging Markets Institute. I think this institute does amazing work, both here in Ithaca and around the world, in teaching and research related to emerging markets, and you produce so many events and reports. So thank you for this contribution. Yes, this Vietnam project is actually quite exciting. It is, what I have said earlier, is once in a lifetime opportunity to create a world-class university in Hanoi, Vietnam. So let me just give a very quick background of how this project started and where we are. The project will result in a new university called VinUniversity. It's a VIN, Vin, and it will be based in Hanoi. First batch of students will arrive in fall 2020. 300 students. They will be part of one of the three colleges in this university, College of Business, including Hospitality and Real Estate, College of Engineering, which will have Computer Science, Electrical and Mechanical Engineering, and College of Health Sciences, which will have degrees in medical, nursing, and residency programs. University is being constructed right now. It's in the eastern side of the river in Hanoi, in about approximately 1 square kilometer area of a brand new development, which is about 10 square kilometers. And it will have home to, I believe, 60,000 people who will be living in that area once it's done. And it's all built on international standards. The faculty, students, staff, they'll all be recruited and measured on world-class standards. So the way this project started is because Vietnam, as we all know, is growing very fast, and there's a homegrown conglomerate called Vingroup. The chairman of Vingroup in their strategic planning session early in 2016 asked questions with his senior leadership that how will they get future talent in their company and also in the country. And they did quite a bit of research internally and also reviewed information and realized that there's a big shortage of world-class talent. And even though many Vietnamese students go abroad, many more are needed. And so it makes sense to create world-class university right there in the country. They were able to get funding from Vingroup for this philanthropic effort, really. But they needed advice. And so they reached out to top universities in the world asking for help. And that's how Cornell got involved. We were approached in fall 2016, and we were asked if we can give them advice for creating all aspects of university, and specifically for College of Business and Engineering. And along with us, University of Pennsylvania was asked to advise on creating College of Health Sciences. So both universities have agreed to a 6-year plan till 2024 to provide advice, which includes setting standards for teaching, research, faculty recruiting, curriculum, student, all aspects. And I have been working on that project on behalf of Cornell, but unexpectedly, late fall 2018, Ms. Mylan, who's the vice chairwoman for the company, she asked if I'll be willing to come and be the founding provost for this university. And it was a unexpected surprise, and I was pleasantly, surprised to hear this news. But then I had to ask my family, and they were supportive. And following that, I officially requested leave from Cornell. Our dean and provost agreed for me to go there for 3 years to take this role. So it's quite exciting, and delighted to answer any more questions about it.
So you have been traveling quite a bit to Vietnam, and as you say, it's a very fast growing, what we call often frontier market. So what are your impressions? What are the secrets of Vietnam's success?
Yeah, so Vietnam actually joined, this is just my perception, Vietnam actually joined the world economy a little bit later compared to many other countries, right? So officially the relationship got harmonized between US and Vietnam in mid-1990s. And since that time till now, the trade between the two countries has gone, I think, tenfold or even more. And this generation of, first of all, it's a very young country. There are a lot of people who are very young. And even though when you look at, media or old movies, people only think of Vietnam War. That actually happened a long time ago. And the current generation is interconnected with the world. There's social media everywhere. They see all the exciting things happening all around, and they want to be part of it. And so since mid-1990s till now, there has been a strong desire from the citizens of the country, and also I think the administration, to bring all the things which have made many parts of the world very prosperous. So in my travels to Vietnam, I have been there at least maybe 10 times in the last 2.5 years. People talk a lot about the Singapore miracle. People talk a lot about Korean miracle. People talk a lot about the Israeli miracle. How are these countries who are very small, resource constrained, had their own adverse situation, but they have all worked hard, invested in education, invested in trying to create open environment for business, and then create enough intellectual capital in their own country to grow. So I think that's what people are aspiring to do. They're saying, well, others have gone ahead earlier, so we have to be willing to learn, but we have to also be willing to bring that knowledge and internally create intellectual capital which will help them go forward. So I'll just give some examples. When we started this project, there was no homegrown car company in Vietnam. So Vingroup, at that time, I think it was August 2017, I still remember, we were in Hanoi at the time, and they announced that Vietnam will have its own car company called VinFast. Now they have a car. Actually, it's rolling out of assembly line. And earlier this year in the Paris auto show, they won the best new car of the world category. So I think a lot of those things, the hard work, aspiring to do well, willing to learn, and not just be captured by the past, but look forward.
That's a very good sentence, not being captured by the past and looking forward. So Brazil, which is at some point was the 7th biggest economy in the world, now has fallen into 9th, used to have very low percentage of university graduates, so had a lower than what would correspond by the GDP per capita. So Heloisa, in Brazil, universities are key as well as in any other country. The governments have made tremendous effort to increase the number of graduates and to bring Brazilian universities to world standard. Still today, University of Sao Paulo is one of the 200 best universities in the world. So could you please highlight also Brazil's efforts in this same vein, not to be captured by the past, by looking forward, and universities are key?
Okay, thank you, Lourdes, for this opportunity. Congratulations for your great project and success.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eudes, for the introduction. Well, Brazil, differently from Vietnam, is a big country, and the challenges has they have the same size of our country, and in education that's the same. We have a big challenge in quality of education, especially in the graduation level. The universities aren't accessible for all. According to OECD, we have 15% of the Brazilian population between 25 and 34 years old that can't complete the graduation. It's a huge problem, and we have low mobility in universities. Only 3% of poor people that came from illiteracy parents conclude the graduation. So there is a huge problem about access to university, and another problem in terms of quality. So we have lots of programs trying to solve the question. The program more massive is called University for All. University for All provides scholarship for poor people, poor students, to access private schools. And we have in Brazil private schools normally accessible by poor people. It's a contradiction. And public universities are accessed by rich students. So we have the accessible challenge, and we want, and we are trying to solve the problems, improving the university for all, and improving the quality of public and private universities. As you told, universities like USP, Universidade de São Paulo, and Unicamp are among the best universities in the world, and the research in these universities are being very well done, and the model, this success model needs to be spread to all the universities in Brazil.
Very good. A question: you were before Vice Minister of Industry. What would be one demand that you would do to the new government, to the new Minister of Education? And I will ask you also, what is your wish for both, from the government to the university and from the university? So what would be your wish list for in this topic in Brazil?
First of all, investing in basic education. It's not about university, but we need to reach good level in basic skills, in basic education, because we rank very bad in skills like knowledge in math, and that's the base of the new economy. And in the other field, investing in research, investing in universities that have good labs, good projects in innovation, because we need to be a more innovative country. And the innovation is made by companies and supported by the knowledge that comes from the universities.
Thank you. So, Dean Verma, what do you think? We have the wish list for Brazil. What would be your wish list for both your university that you will be leading and from the government in Vietnam? What would be?
Sure. First, I was fascinated to hear about the description of Brazil, an education system. Like you said, Brazil has much bigger size population and economy, and so you're facing much bigger set of challenges, but also better opportunity that way. In terms of the Vietnam, but I think it's a general statement. I think good universities become excellent university when you have active partnership between the public sector, private sector, and education sector. It used to be that universities need to be separated from the real world, so that student can dedicate and just study. And somehow funding came from the government and nobody asked anything. I think those days are gone for good reasons. I think we need to be there. Increasingly, people are asking questions everywhere. What is the value of higher education? So, which means that universities have to take care of needs of the community, the local companies, partnerships, and also work with the government because the government needs these ideas. They need unbiased ideas. They need some innovative ideas which can come from young people at university, from professors at university. So there has to be a three-way partnership. And so what my hope is that in Vietnam, VinUniversity will be able to cooperate with other local universities and together talk to different responsible people in the government and say how can we create the ecosystem where the innovation and higher learning is rewarded. Perhaps like Brazil, create funding for scholarships. Vingroup is already creating scholarship for master's and PhD students to go abroad, but I think more can be done. And then when we create curriculum, it has to be related to the local need. So, there are some unique problems in each part of the world. Vietnam has its own. There's traffic congestion, there's sustainability issues, the growth. And I think three-way partnership will help solve. So that's my wish list, that we can create a good partnership.
Yeah, I'd like to add the same point to Brazil because nowadays we have the conditions, the best conditions to advance in the tripartite relationship in Brazil because we overcome some regulational problems, and I think we are ready to go ahead.
Yeah, I always like to have the opinion of a young person in our discussions. This time, Eudes, you are the product of two Ivy League universities. So besides this partnership that I can see it every day, alumni are very much part of our life, of what we do, this societal compromise and that we have, that we find in Ivy Leagues. What would you say that is another secret of the success of these tremendous American universities?
Well, I moved through various different spaces because I'm originally from Brazil. A lot of my parents' education happened in Europe, and I ultimately did my undergraduate and PhD in the US, as you mentioned, in Ivy League universities.
And the difference between both?
It's interesting because for me there are three major models. I don't know if you would agree with this. There's the model of these very well-endowed institutions, and so that gives incredible leverage and incredible flexibility to think about how to fund the best students, the students with the most potential, and not having to oftentimes not even having to reach out to the public sector because there are the means to recruit the best talent. There's also the model of these very powerful public institutions, public universities. Brazil has very prestigious ones. USP is an example of a very well-known, prestigious public university where everybody has access. You just have to be accepted, and it's very, very rigorous public examinations to make your way in. And then there's the model of these universities that are big, they are large in scale, they have a lot of different universities all over many markets, and there is a real public-private partnership where it's important that loans are backed by the government, right? That there are all kinds of means for lower income students to have access, and the government plays a vital role, and we see that also in Brazil. And so, I would say all of them have their advantages. I think by way of what I've always prioritized in my education, which was research, which was, I had all these questions that really animated my career and my life, and it led me to these spaces.
Okay. So let's close now. Wish you all the best, opportunity of lifetime, opportunity to make a tremendous impact in one great country like Vietnam. Also, as we say in EMI, building bridges between the US and Vietnam and encouraging dialogue that will be, of course, very, very productive and very impactful for a great country that is Vietnam. Thank you so much, Dean Verma, Heloisa Menezes, Eudes Lopes. Thank you all for a very interesting conversation about building institutions that make a difference in any country, and in this case, Vietnam. Thank you, and best of luck, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.